My name is Anita. I'm a research scholar and an artist. So I'd like to ask Dr. Karan Singh a little bit from his point of view about this symbolism of the smearing of the ash.
Really, I can't answer that. I can only recite a small poem that I have written.
Come into the mic. Can you do the mic?
In Hindi.
Can one of you do the mic? So to ask the audience if you don't mind.
हे शिव शंकर
You don't mind?
महादेव,
No problem.
त्रिपुरासुर के रक्षक, महिषासुर के भक्षक, मेरे साथ क्या व्यवहार करो। हे शिव शंकर महादेव, त्रिपुरासुर के भक्षक, मृत्युंजय के रक्षक, मेरे साथ क्या व्यवहार करोगे। यदि भस्म करने का ही निर्णय हो तो भी मुझे कोई आपत्ति नहीं। यदि भस्म करने का ही निर्णय हो तो भी कुछ आपत्ति नहीं। हाँ, एक अनुरोध अवश्य है, उसके बाद मेरी भस्म को अपने शरीर पे लगा लें। Answers your question.
The Puranic myth is that it was Triambake, which was the bow and arrow that destroyed the three worlds of the Asuras. And when he destroyed the three worlds, the ashes that fell, he picked them up and smeared himself with it. And so basically he's smearing your ego, your maya, your illusions on his body. You know.
It's a sacred ritual among the Nagababas or devotees of Shiva at a certain, sect, particular way of worshipping Shiva, to smear ash. And I've always been pretty fascinated by the idea.
Okay, good. Can we pass the mic Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, my knowledge is not so deep, so I'm actually confused between the mythology and the symbolism. You know, how do you marry the two together? Because I understand the mythology and I understand the symbolism, but I can't put it together.
Well, nor can I. Nobody can really put them together. But I think each one has its own importance. The mythology is very inspiring, very exciting. You know, it always gives me a sense of wonder and awe. But the symbolism behind it is very important. So I think when you're using your mind, it is the mythology that is important. But when you are actually using your heart and your inspiration, then the symbolism is. You need both. You need the intellectual as well as the spiritual approach to Shiva.
I think that mythologies do cater to our need for archetypes. They cater to our need for parallel lives that we can understand, right? Metaphors and things like that. While symbols are clues to our own consciousness. You know, symbols are, we understand deep inside ourselves something from those symbols. And if we can, the best mythologies are ones that symbolically wake you up anyway, right? So when you read a great story or a Greek myth, you feel it inside yourself. You get the thing. And I think we don't tell mythology stories as well as we used to. You know, the great writers are not there, or the great films are not there. But you know, we like in the West, you had Joseph Campbell and great storytellers that brought mythology back into the popular consciousness. And what they did was, which was very nice in the West, was they integrated mythology with psychology, depth psychology and Jungian psychology. And I think that changed the way we looked at the world, you know. And I think if we can do the same thing in India with our mythologies, and I know people like Devdutt Patnaik and all are trying to do that, but we need to do more of that, which is to bring our mythologies to the psychology of being an Indian. And
very good evening. I have a related answer to the previous question and a question of my own as well. The question that you asked was about symbolism and mythology. I'm being a historian, I'm teaching at University of Delhi for quite some time. What I understand is we start with the stone objects that we had started with, the round objects, and then we move on to phallus, and then the representation which is more anthropomorphic, and then a pantheon building on from there. And Nataraja is something which comes very late in the form of art. It comes later, although Tandav is mentioned way back in Natya Shastra, is 3rd century BCE. I mean, it changes from BC
It's a
to
Chola development. It
Chola
was a Chola
development.
yeah.
So, I mean, one thing that I have understood through the historical studies is possibly we had an idea which has been researched over and over again, and we are finding more and more symbolic representations now. So there's an idea which possibly was in the Shabda or the word or the Akshara when it began, and now taking more and more form because it has to reach more and more people. I mean, I don't know, it's just a hypothesis that I'm trying to work on myself.
It's an interesting idea.
Right. So it's like, once we are more into Maya, we need more of the symbols to guide us to reach certain destinations. The question I have is the Ardhanarishwara. So is it like the start, or is it something which develops later in the pantheon?
Do you know?
Well, I really don't know. I think it is pretty ancient, but the idea of transsexuality is something I think built into the structure of our mythology and even our shastras, because there has always been the linkage between, unlike in the West where you have the sacred and the profane, this is something which is profane, sacred. In India, there's never been that dichotomy. Sex, for example, is the most creative act, and in Buddhism particularly, even more than Hinduism, many of the paintings represent the sexual orgasm as the moment of satori. So there's a direct linkage between the physical and the so Ardhanarishwara, I'm not quite sure when it began, but I think the idea of transsexuality, or bisexuality if you like, or transsexuality, and the Shiva Shakti thing is very, very deep and fundamental to Hinduism.
One thing I realized is that by studying all this is that we are the most creative, open wisdom tradition in the world. We are live and let live like nobody's business. There is no limit to what stories are there for us to dig in from cross-gender to homosexual to animal to whatever. We deal with everything in these ancient scriptures, and none of it is treated as absolute evil or absolute good. And I don't think there's ever a time, I think that's a recent, post-colonial phenomena of absolutes. But we need to get away from that and back to the organic nature of what India is about. And we have always been the most, hippy-dippy religion ever. We are the most open. But the one underlying principle is the work. One has to do meditation. One has to do tapas. One has to work at it. One cannot achieve those states of consciousness, dualities, deeper meanings without the work. But the storytelling helps. The storytelling definitely helps.
My name is Om Prakash.
Om Prakash.
1.5 years back, I came across a person who has done a hell of a lot of meditation, and then he had this Kundalini awakening and Samadhi and so on and so forth. And he told me, I attended a 2-day workshop with him, and I had some positive effects. So he says that Shiva is actually a principle and not a personality. There is no Mr. Shiva. There is a principle of what can be called Shiva-hood or something. And that comes only to and in that sense, probably as I'm speaking, I'm just wondering that Shiva, the person, is also a symbol of some sort.
Absolutely. We agree with you completely. I agree with you completely. Would you agree that it's a symbol?
This is a symbol, but there's also the personality factor. You cannot just denigrate it and forget it. It will be very boring if it is only a principle. Frankly, you need to see somebody.
Yeah, because, there are two reasons one continues in a practice. I don't know if you have continued with your practice, because unless you get rasa from it, unless you get the benefit and the sweetness of that magical, what that Shiva means to you, right? Then until that time, the story is the better one of the personality. So I think that one can have both in life. You need good stories, but you need experience also.
My name is Poonam.
Poonam, hello Poonam.
Yeah, hi. Very often, in fact, through all the reading and wherever lectures you go to, the word ego comes up.
Yes.
And that it has to be destroyed. I find that very objectionable. If I listen to your lecture very carefully, the three gods that you have mentioned are probably the most egotistical.
Oh yes.
Right?
No doubt.
You cannot be an inventor, a creator, an artist, nothing. Therefore, if intellectuals like you could differentiate, perhaps, between the word ego, which in my view is the best thing that we human beings have ever possessed, we are because we have ego. So cannot intellectuals like you differentiate and say that, all right, ahankar can be one thing, that can be a negative. Extreme arrogance can be a negative. But certainly self-pride and ego is good. And then very often I've heard, I mean, I'm an atheist, but I'm very interested in people who are religious because it interests me. So I listen sometimes to lectures on the net. And every time everybody is saying, in all religions, get rid of your ego.
Mm.
So
No,
I think the
you need
word
an ego.
has been
Otherwise,
misused.
You need an ego, that's for sure.
So can't people like you do this?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
spread the
Actually,
word.
Raja never mentioned ego, luckily, in his talk at all.
I mentioned
Because
it once when the three worlds, when
Yeah,
the
the
destruction
three
of the three worlds,
No,
one
but
of them
I
was
think it
ego.
depends. You see, the word ego is a Greek
It's a limited word also. It's a
It's a
limited
Greek
word.
word. There's no real Sanskrit parallel to it. Ahankara means pride. Now, pride is certainly something that is not desirable. Because I think if you have progressed, the more you learn, the more humble you have to be. So if ego is looked upon as ahamkara, then it is negative. But if ego is looked upon as the Atma, as our inner self, which is growing towards perfection, then obviously it is a desirable thing. Without an ego, you wouldn't grow. What would grow? So it is really a semantic problem also. Don't take the ego too literally in the Indian context.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. And also remember one thing, that we're always limited by language. We're always limited by language. It's not that, look, I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist, and I'm thank you for calling me an intellectual. I'm not. But I'm joking. But I think that without ego, we can't wake up in the morning, right? But that is a limiting word in itself, right? In the West, they use words like little self, big self. They use words like little me and universal me, or open me, and things like that. They're all limiting. They're all very limiting. I think that the Indian words are much more specific to particular traits of your participation in that illusion of Maya, right? Even the ego that is creative is an illusory thing, right? The fact is that Shiva is the best example of it, is that we are going to die. We are all going to die, no matter what we build or what ego we do or how we reach for the stars or whatever we're going to do. So overcoming that first fear is the first big, obstacle in our path. And then all the other ones just kind of fall together, So I don't like the word ego also, I agree with you. And I'm probably an atheist as well. I agree. When I used it there, I used it in the three worlds that he destroys with the Trishul. I used it there. That was the only time I used it. I try and avoid it. Thank you for correcting me. Much appreciated. What's your name?
My name is Ranjana.
Hi, Ranjana.
And hi. My question is completely different. It's, I would like to understand, because it seems that the route to higher consciousness lies through the pineal gland.
Pineal gland.
Pineal gland.
What we talked about last time.
Is there somebody of science or of medicine here who can tell me how does the medical science, how does all this progress in medical science look at the pineal gland? What do they have to say?
Yeah. We had a big talk on this where we looked at the science couple of months ago. I'll summarize it very quickly for you, that science says the pineal gland is predominantly responsible for melatonin, right, creation in the body. It also is a serotonin receptor, means that in addition to the stomach, it produces serotonin as well in the brain. It is the end of our lizard brain and the beginning of our limbic system, emotional brain, and then our neocortex on top, right? So what they found with scientific research into meditation and into, they've discovered a molecule called DMT, which is dimethyltryptamines. DMT is a molecule that is the same family as serotonin, but it creates massive hallucinatory states. Light, illumination, feeling of bliss. So people who have taken DMT directly have near samadhi experiences directly, which is huge bliss, huge surges of wind and energy up the spine, seeing other beings in front of them that aren't there, like energy beings and angels and things like that, seeing geometrical patterns, vast illumination and light. So they found that the DMT comes in two times in your life. One during the gestation period around the 49th day of the baby. It bursts into consciousness when the fetus becomes conscious of itself. And DMT is the thing that helps it become conscious in its mother's womb, the child. And they've also found that it occurs seemingly at death. At the moment of death, the body floods the system with DMT to give you a less painful experience of death, right? So what we are discovering, and we're working on the research right now, and part of our research with Universal Quest is in this area, is we're looking at how the yogis and practitioners of Kundalini systems were able to induce death to release the DMT in their practice, right? So that means your body has to think you're about to die in order for it to release that visionary state, right? So there is a lot of research going on there. There's different types of research. The pineal gland is the least being researched, but the frontal lobes and the neocortex is being researched a lot. The Klaus plate, they found a new plate in the inside just above the pineal gland that they charge it electrically, and the person went into like open-eyed unconsciousness, just stuck there, like catatonic. They could click their fingers, they could do different things, but no brain activity, right? Like the neocortex just stopped, right? Not working completely. But they could bring them back by triggering it again. So I think that we're entering a very brave and exciting new time, right? We're also seeing the emergence of a lot of smart drugs now, right? So chemicals like psilocybin from mushrooms are being used by Imperial College now, LSD. They're looking at creating new drugs that can cure, they're using it, the money being done into research is in depression, is in addiction, those areas, but it directly affects consciousness. So I think we're in a very exciting time right now, just to answer your question.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Vanna.
Hello, Dr. Vanna.
Very interesting, very, very interesting. And interesting as in everything, the questions, the answers, the presentation, the very talk itself, and of course, Shiva, When we talk of, let's say, science, E is equal to mc squared, and when we talk about Shiva and Shakti, I'm now putting it all together.
Yeah.
I think each individual, we are Ardhanareshwar in our own self, not perfectly balanced,
yes,
but getting there. Yeah. So, so I think two questions are coming to my mind. One is that if M is Shiv, the matter, and if E is energy, the Shakti, the Parvati, the Sati, then what is C?
Light.
Exactly.
DMT.
Exactly. So what is light doing?
What do you think,
here?
Manish? You have an answer for that? Does that equation even apply here?
What I propose, what I think is that the C is light, as you said, but what is that light within us?
Yes.
So I think when we do the meditation, and when we are deeply into it, when we are kind of reaching that stage where you're getting stiller, the stillest, that's when your Kundalini rises, and the speed almost gets lightning, the energy, the upsurge of energy,
where
the
consciousness goes at the speed of light.
Yes, and the Kundalini, when it will rise, it will hit your pineal gland all across, it will, touch all the chakras, it will reach your pineal gland, and that's when, and I have also, I wouldn't say read, but again, it's kind of a feeling or whatever, I don't know. All my feelings need to be supported, it's just coming from within. So I think Shiva is the Atma, the matter here. You know, if we imagine the Shiv Shakti, the Shankar lying and Kali on top of it, it's the symbolism of Shiv and Shakti. If there is no Shakti, Shiv is just a shav. If there is no energy in us, we are just a dead body. So when the pran leaves the body, you know, within us, we are just a dead body. So it's energy, matter, and that lightning speed within us when we reach that stage of meditation. So, and when that lady was talking about ego, again, I think ego is that stage, you know, when you can detach yourself, the body and the Atma, when you can detach yourself, when you no longer associate with your body, you do not identify yourself as a body, as a physical body, because ego comes in an individual when you are identifying with your physical body, your physical consciousness. The moment you have transcended, when you are living in as a soul, when here on earth you live as a soul, you know that, and you see everyone as a beautiful soul out there.
Yes.
Then you are interacting.
Then you go balance in that Shiva Shakti.
Then you don't have that ego.
But one thing you have to remember is that I think we are confusing two things here, little bit. One is the desire to scientifically explain things with what we understand of science, right? And the other is the intuitive sense of consciousness that comes with trying to meditate and open up the chakras and rise up. Because what happens when you do practice Kundalini Yoga or any other technique like that is that you realize what these metaphors mean of Shiva and Shakti the more you do it. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But the correlationship to the way matter and energy interchange in the universe is a different game altogether. Is a different game. While we can find parallels, right, and you'd agree with that, I assume, right? It is not essentially an immediate connection between the two things, because, in fact, more than likely we are more at the quantum level of consciousness than we are at the normal E equals mc squared level of physics. You know, if anything. Monish, what do you want to say on that?
One more question. So who's ultimate between the two, the Shiv or the Shakti?
Well, it depends on which route you take, because if you go the Devi route, right, then Shreem is ultimate. And then Reem is also ultimate. So both are at the Bindu, both become one. There is no two, right? So if you are doing true Kundalini practice, it is at the 6th chakra that the division ends. The two meet at the front, unity. The serpent goes over your head, intertwine, hit in front here, go back and affect the pineal gland, that turns upwards, opens, and you're no more at duality. You're no more in duality space, right? This is the Kundalini idea, right? The core of the Kundalini idea is to overcome dualities, right? Is to become one sensitive being, become integrated as a whole. Everything else in the world is that duality in action. Everything else, right?
Karan Singh Rathod, Director World Mass Communication.
Okay.
मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ इस्लाम का, वहाँ भी शिव का आदर करते हैं, और धन्यवाद देता हूँ क्रिश्चियनिटी का। क्रिश्चियनिटी वर्ल्ड को, डब्ल्यू को त्रिशूल मानती है, और क्रिश्चियनिटी चर्च में हम लोग गिरजाघर, शिव पार्वती का घर उसको मानते हैं। तो हम लोग, आप लोगों से मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि हर हर महादेव और घर घर महादेव में इसका इतना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रयास करें, वो बड़ा अच्छा होगा।
तो हम हर हर महादेव भी कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, वही तो कर रहे हैं हम। नहीं, हम शिवा को मांग रहे हैं कि वही अल्टीमेट कॉन्शियसनेस है, राइट? सो देयर इज नो डिफरेंस देयर, देयर इज नो डिफरेंस। एंड वेदर यू सी शिवा इन अ स्टोन or in a mandir or in a church or in Kaaba, it doesn't matter. It's you that you are seeing it inside yourself, you know. Our spirituality has nothing to do with what religion you belong to. None. You know. Would you agree? Yeah. You know, it is irrelevant. It is my spiritual journey I'm on. And it's irrelevant whether I started as a Dalit or a Brahmin, or I ended up as a Christian or a Taoist. You know, my energy work is Chinese Qigong, my Kundalini is awake, and practice is hard, but it works, and you have to do it. It is work.
What at Universal Quest we try to do is to look at both science and consciousness. We come from many spaces, from spaces of storytelling, as it has happened in mythology, and has then evolved into religions, if you like, or into spiritual practices, if you like. And they seem to tell not only stories, but some things about how things have evolved, and how your consciousness is something that you can access, or things that you can actually come into being with, right? In a sense, but science is a much larger piece of work that we do as scientists. What we are trying to do is trying to understand the universe as it is. The universe itself is a great story. It's much richer than any one of our stories. And what we are finding is that we have ways of actually understanding the laws of the universe, coming into applying to all parts of the universe, applying to us, and maybe also applying to consciousness. And how consciousness is something that we actually are pursuing, and is the universe conscious, or is it a computer? That's also very likely. And
you mean, are we part of a simulation?
No. When you really get to the quantum level, when you really get to the level where you do research on issues related to what is space and what is time, then you come to the issue that I actually try to raise, which was the present, past, and it is Shiv is important because he is the master of time.
Mahakaleshwar.
And Shiv as a figure has a appeal to all sorts of scientists, just because it seems to be a cosmogony of something that seems to be directly in tune with physics and how we think of science right now. But you should not conflate it and make it E is equal to mc squared. No. That's not as trivial. Because actually, as the universe has evolved, it's actually been E over c squared is equal to mass. Because there was energy first. And then something happened and mass came in. And now our own levels of science is looking at dark energy, is looking at dark matter. Now, if I think Sri Aurobindo has a poem which is called Who, and again I'm paraphrasing. The last phrase basically says he's sitting in dark space alone, and who is that person? And if Shiv is there anywhere in the universe, maybe it's dark matter because you can't see him. You can feel him. He has power through gravity. Gravity travels at the speed of light. You can make these stories, but they're not science. But they give you clues, and that's what we want.
Good point. And I wanted to go back to something the lady said there earlier. I think you did about the idea of how do we see it in the world ourselves, right? Things are appearing more complex now.
Right.
You said that, I remember. Exactly. And I agree with that because I think our tools, our technologies, our vocabulary are becoming more complex, right? So we have Hubble telescope showing us millions of galaxies now. We have, in ancient times, people saw the stars and the 7 planetary bodies and thought that was the moving cosmos, right? Today we know that there are galaxies and there are galaxies within galaxies, and it's mind-boggling, and I think that even trying to interpret Shiva has become more complex now, right? But at its core, the teachings are very simple, right? Which is that if you sit still, if you become the immovable Kailash, right, and you focus your energies inwards, you withdraw your senses, and you move upwards, right, something will awaken in you. It has nothing to do with God. It is to do with something inside you. And when that awakens, they gave it names, Shiva, Shakti, they gave it Kali. In the Sri Vidya, the goddess sits in the anus, it is Ganesh, it is Ganpati. As it moves up, it becomes Lakshmi in the heart, or Krishna. As it moves up, these are just names. These are just names. the energy, if you feel it, and we'll see it if you want to practice with this, right, is an energy that is so exquisite and so powerful and so beautiful that it is like, that's why they call it the Soma Rasa. That's why they call it this taste of Soma, you know. And it's something else. It's something else, you know. I can't describe it. It is something beautiful. Yeah, really beautiful.
Can I just make a comment? You've been mentioning about the dark energy and dark matter in the caves. The same kind of description is also given to the word dharma and how it sits inside the caves, and that's where the entire Vedic corpus has been talking about. I think recent researches by Patrick Oliver, Alfred Batel, who are doing more textual researches, of course. And I mean, I think that idea of identifying that dark cave somewhere, I mean, it's something I think, you know, it also might have something more to do with consciousness than with the cosmos outside. So I think it somewhere relates to it.
And there are many ways to activate the DMT in your head. The darkness, the dark caves, the inner space. You don't have to go out of the city to have an experience, right? What helps with the energy places of the world or other places around the world that you can travel to is that if your vibration is already starting to happen, those places accelerate it, right? So you will actually experience faster and more inner experiences. See, all the great saints and seers all say that you get caught with the experiences, you will get stuck, right? Because you're so enjoying the experiences that you don't want to, you know, you're tasting the soma and you're feeling good and you're seeing lights and angels come, and next thing you know, you don't want to go anywhere. You just want to sit and look at them all day, right? But there are two paths one can take here. And this is where Shiva and Shakti divide, right? Shiva is the path to full whack consciousness. Boom. I just want to burst out of my head and see Shiva and go beyond Shiva into cosmos, right? That means little self, right? Expanding into universal self of some way. Imagination, forget real travel, right? Not space travel. The second thing I would suggest is Shakti, which is that my body is a temple for awakening this energy, right? By meditating on my body, by touching my mudras, by putting my yantra, by touching my tongue, by understanding my organs, by relating my sex organs to my tongue and my nose, I'm able to create a circuit, and before I know it, things are happening. And I give them names. They have worship. They have names, right? This is the Shakti way, right? So one can choose either path, right? The Upanishad says, forget all that. Go straight, boom. Go straight for it, Brahman. Buddhism says, there's not even Brahman. Don't worry about Brahman. Beyond Brahman, there's more. Don't get caught with Brahman, right? So you choose, right? But if you choose the Shiva route or any route, then once you practice it diligently, it begins to give fruit, right? But that practice is the, that's why the blue pill and red pill are so appealing now for so many people. One quick kick of LSD and you're off.
Thank you so much. I think I'll revert back with more questions and answers later. Thank you.
What I have read and understood is the little bit that you need a master, an adept master, who has already transcended and is self-realized. Only then can you get the Kundalini, otherwise it can be explosive and dangerous. If you try and do it on your own, because the masters have walked the path, they've mastered it, they are self-realized beings, and so a true master is, has been given a place in our tradition. And what value would you hold? Because they were earlier esoteric, and now they're coming and talk. You know, we're openly discussing these esoteric techniques, whereas the Diksha was the awakening, which I have, I don't want to talk about it here, but this is what I'm trying to say is, it's all very well to discuss it, and some people can jump into it. It's like jumping into the deep end of the pool without really knowing how to get out of it. So I don't know what you have to say, since it's fine.
Oh no, I'm of the Krishnamurti school of be your own guru. But the fact is that, if there were, for there to be a master, that means there has to be a slave. And for there to be a slave, there has to be a servile attitude towards devotion. So the thing is that we sometimes confuse great teachers with masters, right? And My argument is learn everything you can, but you are, as the Buddha said, as every great master has ever said, guru, master, teacher, you have to follow your own light. You have to be your own guru. The problem with masters today is that they also have Swiss bank accounts. They also have lifestyles. So we are now in an age where we are being suckered into the idea of a master. When, if you look at all the great masters of 100 years ago, or even up till then, these were people with 6, 7 students who you'd come and go from, and you'd come at the weekend and hang out with them, and you'd have, see, what happens is that, you come to one of my things and I'll give you Shaktipat. You want Shaktipat? I'll give you Shaktipat.
I already have this.
So there you go. So Shaktipat is the first step of a kind of hypnotic trance we go into when we are in the presence of another energy, right? Because what happens is that using language, using breath, you induce a state, right? That can happen. And not everybody gets it, but a lot of people get it at the same time. Now, the masters, the practitioners of Kundalini who have awakened siddhis through their chakras can activate the different Shaktipats at different chakra levels. So I can open a heart chakra, for example, where somebody else can open a third eye, right? And somebody else can open with voice. Somebody else can open with things. So the problem is that we have a lot of gurus now who are also at different levels of experience, but have hit upon a gold mine. And so it become a business, right? And we have a problem with that right now. So here's what I suggest to you, is that at the end of the day, you don't ever do anything by jumping into the deep end of a pool without learning to have a little basic swimming first of all. But it doesn't mean you go and live at the house of your swimming instructor and worship his toe. You got to go, you got to take your swimming instructions, then you got to go and practice.
I agree they are 99.9 business-minded.
But that's a lot.
Or people who've attained some siddhis but are not using it for the welfare of humanity.
No, if you were to find
they have their
the
own
teacher,
self-interest at the bottom of it.
Okay, look, I've been lucky. I've met some great teachers.
So I've been lucky too.
I've been lucky too.
I've been very lucky.
So here's the thing about great teachers is that it's the student that makes the great teacher. It's the student that makes the great teacher. Because when you are hungry, when you want to learn, right? This is what they mean that the guru will appear, That's what it means. It doesn't mean that, like for example, I remember I was with Shubhendu Lahiri and he looked at me and he said, you're something is blocked there, come. And he slapped me, right? And it, okay, so I wept for a while and it was very emotional, traumatic. But it was like he was able to see an energy in me that I was not able to see, that somebody at a lower level of frequency was not able to see. But he was also the most obnoxious, vulgar man. And I could not see myself being a devotee. It would be impossible, right? First of all, I don't have a devotee bone in my body, right? And that's hard enough as it is, right? But I do have a curiosity. And I'm willing, and the most important thing is to be willing to be a guinea pig yourself. Is that, are you willing to try?
And you have to experiment constantly.
Exactly. And you have
to be...
It's like
walking the razor's edge.
It is, and you have to be willing to have a few falls. It's okay. When Kundalini does start to rise, she is excuse my language, a bitch. She will rock you, she will shake you, but she will also give you blissful states.
That's why I mean that it has to be treaded upon with some basic idea where you're going. Like
yes,
I said,
agree.
Into
I
the
agree.
deep end without even knowing how to float.
So first of all, that if you are willing to open your heart up to receiving, you will be amazed at what you start getting, right? And the only place to start in this journey is, of course, intellectual first, but the heart has to open. If the heart opens, oh my Lord, that's when Kundalini wakes up really, because she needs we say in our classes, right, that there are 4 things you have to do. One is gratitude. You have to have complete gratitude for everything that anybody's ever done for you. Any little gesture of kindness, any feeding, any love, any given. The second thing is to let go. You don't come to a teaching with holding on to everything you know with your half cup full and You say, I know Kundalini Yoga, I did it. The third one is surrender. The third one is surrender, which is that feeling that I am not in control. Right? I really am not in control. I have my intention and my ego is there, I want to do something, but I really don't control the situation. It is in the hands of cosmic energies and other things that I don't understand. And the fourth thing is to have it, in English they would say just let go, which is getting rid of all your luggage. You know, all that stuff you carry with you, you know, leave it at the door when you go to practice, you know. Sorry, sir.
You see the difference between the religion of the West, which means believer, like whatever is happening, you are either believer, we leave you. If you are not believer, we kill you. And the good thing is about our Indic religion, religion of India and around, like Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, Sikhism, is that we are seekers. We have to seek ourselves, which way one has to go. We have the independence, we have the freedom of it. But sir, in this freedom, I find that, you know, instead of getting into the technical dexterities which have been spoken at present, I just want to know, because we as children of God, of Hinduism, we are always confused which God to believe. When you read Bhagavad Gita, you see the Lord says that I am the universe, I am everything. You just follow me, don't follow these devtas and devs and all that. Now on the other side, when we see the Lord Shiva, he's a Adi Yogi. So we say he's the God. So when we see Shaktis, you know, like Kali, Durga, Lakshmi, and we say there. So one is, I mean, a simple person like me is always on confused platform, which way to go. So, you know, what is the ultimate aim for us should be? It's a,
there's only one ultimate aim for you, and that is to find the path to maximum happiness. Right? And maximum happiness doesn't mean, you will try many things to find happiness. You will do prayer, you will do material, you will get a job, you will do family, you will do so many things, right? When you start understanding what really gives you happiness at your deepest core, right? Whatever name you give it is irrelevant. It is a place in your heart, it is a place in your soul, it is somewhere in you. And that is what you have to seek, right? Because at the end of the day, in a few years, maybe not tomorrow, maybe 10 years from now, 30 years from now, we are going to be ill, we are going to be aging, we are going to be dying. Did we even find happiness a little bit in our lives? You know, without that, what's the use? All of this is just semantic crap that we're dealing with, you know. So my suggestion to you is that, you know, there's a term in India which is very nice called Ishta Devata, right? Which is that which speaks to my heart, through which window I see the internal, right? Just take one Ishta Devata and keep talking to it. Let it be your friend. And if that's not there, then go inside yourself and talk to yourself, you know, and meditate on yourself. Become the Shiva, you know, become the Vishnu, become the Devi, become the Kali. Who cares? You know, but happiness is everything. All right, so we're going to do a little meditation now. Normally I put some music on, but I'm not. We're going to hum together. So the first thing we're going to do is just sit straight. And just relax yourself, feet firmly on the ground. So rub your hands together really fast. Come on, keep rubbing it. Keep rubbing it. Rub drop it, drop it, drop it. And now rub your nails together. And rub your hands again. The nails actually create more electricity. Okay, now just feel the energy between your hands. Imagine you have a beautiful white ball there in your hands. And just feel that energy. And you want to move that energy into your body a little bit. So you push it down onto your yoni area like this a little bit. Up to your sex organs, up to your navel, up to your heart, around your forehead and your throat. Feel that energy. Just feel it. Put your hand on top of your head and just feel any energy coming out the top of your head. Now you're going to clench your left foot and your right. Clench left. And we're going to do something called double breathing, where we go in, out. 2 in, 2 out. And in between, we're going to hold for a few seconds, okay? So we're going to go like this. Clench everything. And clench everything. And clench again. Now, just sitting, clench your anus, 2 breaths in, like this. Pull it in and hold. And 2 out. Breathe in. Clench your anus, tighten it. This is called the Ashwini Mudra. And clench your anus again. And now take your hand and just put it under your navel. And you're going to pull up as you breathe in. All the way up. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Pull it up like a thread. You're pulling straight up, straight in your spine. Get your back off the back of your chair. And bring it down and feel it tickle down your spine. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Feel it tickling up your spine as you pull it up. And breathe out. Now there's a circuit we create. And the circuit is between your anus, rectum that we squeezed just now. You felt it all? All of you felt it a little bit? Yeah? Did any of you feel any heat? Did anybody feel any heat when you did it? Yes? As you do it more and more, you will feel heat, right? And that is your Muladhara coming into activation, right? So if you want to just be steady in the world, if you want to be grounded, not fall ill often, be strong, we want to activate the Muladhara area. And the Ashwini Mudra is the best way of keeping that grounding, right? Right? And then you suck in and you hold it for about 8 seconds. And let it go. Now, once you get that Ashwini Mudra going, the anus clenching, right? What it does, it awakens the Muladhara. Right? So, before doing any Kundalini Yoga or any kind of Kriya, we want to get grounded. So we do the energy work, we ground ourselves on the feet, we do prana, we do Hatha Yoga, we do any stretching we can. We want to ground ourselves solidly, right? So whatever practice you do, always first ground yourself in this, right? And so the best way is to just energize, like we did, and you can do one side, like left clench your left foot, and let go. Clench your right foot. And now use that double breathing all the time. Okay, clench your left calf. Clench your right calf. Clench your left thigh. Clench your right thigh. Clench your left back. Right back. Stomach. Fist. Bicep. Left neck, right neck. These energization techniques were taught by Lahiri Mahashai, and they're very powerful because what they do is you do it standing up also. You're activating left and right and clenching all the time while doing it, right? And they're actually 39. I'm just showing you about 10, 12. But later on you can learn all 39 also. And there are different schools that offer it, but I can also show you later. So when you clench, you visualize the left side being tight. And you go, you're still doing the same inner tightening, but the left muscle, you focus on that point, on the back side, on the thigh. So you become slowly aware of every part of your body, right? So how's now clench your bottom again. And sit straight off the back and hold your breath now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And imagine a ripple of cool air going up the middle of your spine. Right? And now let it go. Let it come down the sides of your spine. Right? Up the middle of your spine and down the sides of your spine. Right? So the middle strip, we call it the Shushumna, right? Which is a thin, it's not real. It's not a real line. It's just there. It's a subtle channel. And the left and right ones are called Ida and Pingala. So how many of you have done Nadi Shodham before? Like breathing left and right nostrils, all of you? We're going to do a little bit different one. Kriya is a little different, right? Are you all with me so far? Yes. Okay, this is good fun. It's good fun. We're going to do breathe in with the left nostril, but here's what we're going to do. 2 fingers, hold these 2 fingers. These 2 fingers are going to touch your third eye, right? These 2 fingers are going to hold your left nostril, and this finger is going to hold your right nostril. So you're going to rotate between these 2 fingers. So you keep your finger, and now you breathe in with the left nostril, right? And we're going to breathe in to count of 8. And then you breathe out the other nostril by closing this one and breathe out 8. Then that same nostril, we breathe in 8 again, and we breathe out the other side 8. Okay? So we're going to do it 3 times, all right? 8 in, 8 out. And then once you get good at it, I want you to go to 12 in and 12 out at home, if you try it. I promise you, your Ida and Pingala will wake up by doing this, all right? This is by Swami Vivekananda taught this. So, okay, ready? Go. I'll count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other nostril open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in the same nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe out the other nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, take a break. Good? So this is a very different Nadi Shodham. This is Ida Pingala activation. Right? One more time. 8. 1. Breathe in. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And out the other nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in that nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe out the other nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Relax. So it's a very different type of breathing, right? And what you'll find is that when you do Kriya Kundalini breathing, the stomach expands as you breathe in. The chest does not. So you don't go, no, you go. The Chinese call it hara breathing, but it's the same breath in Kundalini. So you can breathe in, right in, when you breathe out, right? That can go in. So then what we do, that's enough for this one. That's your Ida and your Pingala, right? There's more, but I won't show you that. This is the beginning of that. So now you're doing that. We're going to just sit now and relax. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine there's a column of light coming from the earth, through your feet, up your spine, up to the top of your head, and out the top of your head. And then that column goes to infinity and then comes back down through the top of your head, right here in the bindu, right here in the paleatic lobe, and goes in and down your spine and out your legs to the ground, to the earth, center of the earth. So you're going to create a circuit between the center of the earth and cosmos, with you as the middle. So we're going to breathe in and go up past spine. Ready? And we're going to breathe in the same way. That same way we breathe when we pull the string up of our hands, but without our hands this time. And create a circuit, let this light come down through the top of your head. And breathe out. Down through your feet, right down to the earth. Breathe in from the earth. And imagine this light beam going up your spine as you breathe in. Right up, 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 up. Hold. And breathe out. Down, 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 down. So you are this perfect, balanced being of light. And breathe in again. Up your spine, through your Muladhara, up, 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 up. And slowly breathe down, 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 down. And this time I want you to visualize the ball of light forming inside your stomach. A beautiful white or yellow ball of light, right between your navel and your heart. Imagine a beautiful, you can rub your hand in your belly to feel it. There's a beautiful ball of light with that beam still going up through your feet, up to the heavens and then down, but it's creating this energy ball right here. Your heart is full of light and feeling so good. And your hara, your stomach, your navel is the other part. And it's just a beautiful expanding ball of light. And as you expand it out further and further, it leaves your body getting wider like an egg around you. And you slowly feel this beautiful light around you. And you are in the middle, like this circuit of energy going from the earth through to heaven and back again. Now sitting still, just imagine this ball. And as you breathe in, I want you to say Hong, Hong, and Sa. Hong, Sa. Now the Hong is like a breathing in Hong, okay? Like this. Sa. So, do it in your mind now. So, before you do a mantra, we're going to do a different kind of Om. We're going to do Om in the three parts, in the three worlds of your body. Okay? The yoni is here, and this bottom three chakras are your sacred yoni area. This is where a mother has fertilization, the penis enters. This is where you become pregnant and then you gestate and you create the baby. So the navel, the yoni, and the Muladhara is actually not in the anus. It is actually the point where the cervix and the penis meet, right? Swadhisthana is not in the sex organs. It is at the point where the top of the penis head, the back end of the penis and the clitoris meet, right? It is the clitoris. So these are places of sacred energy you're storing in the bottom. This is your lower area, right? When this area is functioning beautifully, your life is just smooth. No health problems, no financial problems. These three are the sacred area of our being. To keep, without these three, you can't have a spiritual life. How can you go spiritual if you're not strong down here? So we've got to make these three strong, right? These three, the yoni, the hara. It's called the hara and the yoni, right? This whole area, right? Then the middle is the heart. The heart is the axis where we go from physical to spiritual. It changes. At the heart, you're expanding. Like that ball, you're like expanding outwards. So you can heal others. You can compassionate, kindness, all are traits of the heart. And the third one is the up. Start with the roof of the mouth. I want you all to do clicking sound in your mouth. Let it drop. That part of your mouth above you is called the Soma Nadi, right here. In fact, eventually, if you create a circuit between Ashwini Mudra and Soma Nadi, Kundalini wakes up. Right? So later on, as you progress, all you have to do is just keep reading the Hamsa while Ashwini and Soma Nadi are connected, and eventually you'll start feeling energies rising. And they'll come in different ways. So these are gentle awakening techniques, okay? They're not harsh, they don't immediately go, you won't go shattering all over the place, and they're just gentle. So what we do is we're going to do an Om, and this is the nice part. We're going to go A, U, and finish at the top of the mouth, and then silence here. Okay? So the fourth level is silence at the bindu. Yes? You can close your eyes, listen to me once, and then do it with me the second time. Okay? This is very powerful. If you all vibrate together, you will all feel energies rising. Trust me. Put your hands facing up. Everybody still okay? Okay, hear me once. Breathe in. Relax. You want to try and do it so that the A, the O, and the O are same length. Because that gives all three worlds. The Shakti name for this is the Bala Tripura Sundari, the three goddesses, the three cities of the goddesses. Right? We're dealing with three cities here. Kali, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati. Right? Saraswati is the stream consciousness coming down. Lakshmi is heart. Right? So Lakshmi is, why is Lakshmi the heart? Because Lakshmi is not a goddess. Lakshmi is an energy inside you of giving and receiving. Prasiddha, prasiddha, right? That's what Lakshmi means. So don't think of Lakshmi as a god. She's not. She's your energy principle of how your heart creates give and take with the cosmos. The other form of the heart is Krishna or Ka. Anything with Ka. Cream, cream, claim. All these are heart. Right? So whenever you hear kleem, aim kleem, so kleem, aim, these are sounds to waken up the heart chakra. Right? They are sound of heart chakra waking up. Right? Then the Muladhara has a sound, right? The sound. And the basic sound of the Muladhara is lam. Lam. Say it, lam. Remember we did the Soma Nadi? Lam. 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 Some traditions we also say langa. Langa. Langa is more forceful, lam is more gentle. So we want to stay gentle for now. So the sounds are this. Listen to me once and I'll say you the sounds of all the chakras in gentle activation, right? Just hear me. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham. So say lam together. Lam. Now do lam with the Ashwini Mudra tense. Tighten your bottom anus and do tighten and lam. Now as you are doing the you are pulling the energy up the spine, okay? So it is like a beautiful string being pulled up by you in your mind, right? And you're trying to pull it to the top of your tongue there. Lam. Anybody feeling anything in the anus area? Any heat or any feelingness of anything? Anybody? You're feeling good? Yeah. A lot of heat, no? So this is a good sign. You want to practice this only. If I talk to you anything, this is the good one, right? That do this until the heat comes, right? You will find yourself grounding in the world, right? And you will find yourself opening up other chakras naturally without even knowing. So we'll just do one through sound of all the chakras with me. I'll do it once and we do it together, yeah? So the sounds are lam, lam, vam, vam. That is in the sex organ area, right? That's where just where the junction is. Then the next one is in the navel area, right? Where the mother nurtures the child. That's ra, ram, ram. So this is the same ra that works for Ram, that works for Rahim, that works for any ra. It is Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Ram, ka, ra, ha, ra. Right? We're building this. Ha and ra. We're building this energy. Right? So that's what it means. These sounds are what they call Bij mantras. And that means anybody can do them. You don't need a master to do them. You just need to practice them in that sequence. Otherwise, the mantras sometimes can go crazy and you'll get headache or something like that. It's never as disastrous as people make it out to be. I've taught a lot of people in the last few years. Nothing has happened. So, lam, vam, ram, la, va, ra. Right? Next one is ya. Yum, heart area. The heart is yummy, yummy, yummy. Think yummy thoughts of the yam heart. Then the throat is ha, hum. And then you come to the agya, the third eye, right? Which is om. Om. Okay, together we're going to do one at a time and then we do all of them together. And the way we do all of them together is Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Om. See how that works? Yes? Nice? Okay, together. Shall we do that one? Follow me. Tighten your anus. Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham and just be silent for a little bit. Don't breathe in yet. Stay breathing out with the silence. Now breathe in. Same light coming down, beam of light. Tighten your anus. Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham. Breathe in. Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham. Now this time, whatever your Ishta Devata, whatever your energy is, whoever you want to call, this is the time. Because your chakras are opening, your channels are open, your body is energized. Everybody's feeling good energy? Yeah? And that energy is converting now into focus. Because now is when we begin dhyan. Right? This is not dhyan so far. This is just warming up. But this is when you want to create that moment. So all of you have mantras you do or whatever you do, feel free to do them at this time. So these are all mantras that, these are not gods, goddesses, nothing like that. These are sounds of your body, nadis in your body, that when you activate them, they become the system coming together. You know, this is why we do mantra, to bring that activation, to increase happiness. That's why we're doing this. I want you to be so happy when you leave here that you just can't take it. You know. So we're going to do a mantra with me, right? 2 mantras I'll teach you, right? One is the 3-city Devi mantra, right? We've done Om, 3. You can do Om also, right? Very nice for Agya, Om. But I'm going to do something called Aim, Kleem, So. Right? Anybody has heard that before? Huh? You've heard it? Yeah. Aim, Kleem, So is the Shri yantra, is the Shri mantra. I will say it, I'll say it again. It is Aim, Kleem, Soha. So Kleem is heart, Aim is tongue. Aim, Kleem, So, So, Kleem, Aim. Tip of the tongue. Aim, Kleem, So, So, Kleem, Aim, Aim, Kleem, So, So, Kleem, Aim. Now just sit. So I'll teach you one more mantra and that's it. And then we'll do Shanti. Yeah? But what did I just show you? I showed you how to get energy. Right? So do everything you can to do whatever you can to get your energy up. And the Ashwini Mudra is the finest way to get your energy going. You feel heat. You feel that breathing, right? Ashwini Mudra. If you do nothing else, do Ashwini Mudra. Right? Yeah. The second thing is we do this beam of light. We are Shiva. We are this light. We are connecting earth and heaven. We are the circuit between earth and heaven. So we are the light. And inside us is this ball of light that is an egg around us that gives us this Shakti, this energy, right? We are that being. So you're the perfect yogi sitting in that way, right? You can do it on a chair, but you can do it on the ground also, right? And the third thing we're doing is we're lifting our mind, we're cleansing left and right, Ida Pingala, right? Then we're lifting our mind step by step up. So just rub your forehead a little bit. This is your third eye beginning point, right? I'm not going to teach you third eye activation. You can, we're doing a workshop on that next weekend if anybody wants to come. Rub this area, just like you did Ashwini Mudra in the anus, right? The sound of here is Om, but there's a mantra you can do, just like we've done mantra down there, right? And the mantra is an interesting one. It has been translated into many things by different religions, but it is Sadanama, right? Sadanama, Sadanama, or Satnam, or whatever you want to call it. Sadanama, Sadanama, but you're going to do it silently, all right? So what you do is you put your finger here, 2 fingers, and look at your eye, looking at those 2 for just a little bit. Don't strain yourself too much. As if you're looking at that point in your forehead, and just say the words with the straight spine in your mind. Sadanama, Sadanama, Sadanama. I'll say it, you just do it silently. Sadanama. Now stop rubbing and just look there. Sadanama, 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 Sadanama. And when you're at home, one very good way to awaken the Agya is to look at a candle, right? And for about 20-30 seconds, and then close your eyes and imagine the candle here inside your mind, and then let it travel as it wants. Follow it around. Eventually you'll find it will rise up and come about 33 degrees up here. This is your third eye. This is where your third eye will open. Right? And it's quite powerful. It is quite extraordinary. But too gentle, right? And please give us your email if you want to receive information. Okay? All right. Great.